A Dutch angle is when the camera is tilted to one side or the other, and it can be disorienting. There could be frantic on-screen action, or it could signify unraveling or chaos. And in this, it shows that what she had just read must have been like shocking or disorienting based on the tilting and her reaction. A tilt is when something remains static but moves up and down to show the scale of things, and it reveals new information, emphasizes height or power dynamics to the viewer. The shot reveals new information while also emphasizing the book as if it's advertising or putting it on display. A pan is when the camera remains static but moves left to right or vice versa. And for the viewer, it follows action or reveals a scene or connects subjects. In this shot, it reveals the book title, and it gives the reader more information on what he was reading. An over-the-shoulder shot is when the viewer can look over the shoulder of someone, while in a conversation is when it's normally used in, and it shows characters' perspective, and it's used in dialogue to create like intimacy and brings the viewer into the conversation, makes them more engaged. And in this shot, it puts the viewer into the conversation and shows the friendly dynamic between the three. A two-shot is when two characters are in a shot at the same time together. It highlights the relationship between two characters, and it also can show connections or tensions, emotional tone, and power dynamic. In this shot, the two girls can be seen, and the viewer can see emotional tone and their overall body language while together.
What kind of tomfoolery is this? And why is it in a wide shot? What's that? You don't know what a wide shot is? That's alright, it's simple really. Wide shots are meant to capture multiple people with a good view of the surroundings as well. This lets the viewer have visual context about how characters relate to their surroundings, which as you can see is just total buffoonery. Ah, depressed child, we get that you're alone. And the long shot lets us know this. Long shots are done in order to understand a character's emotions to their surroundings to create a feeling of being overwhelmed or tense. For example, the poor child here is small and alone, letting the viewer know they feel sad and insignificant. Ow! 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 Wait a minute, that's not me. This is just a point of view shot. Point of view shots are done in clever ways to let the viewer see through the eyes of a character and understand what they are currently going through. An aerial shot can be done to be inclusive of all elements in a shot, or it can also be done to create a sense of emotions such as dread. In other specific cases, it can also be done to emphasize a character or a specific object in frame. A close-up shot can be done to bring the audience in closer to a character or object in frame. This creates strong emotions in an audience such as tension, suspense, and/or anxiety.
This is a zoom. It brings the object closer to the audience by adjusting the camera's lens rather than the camera itself. This establishes emphasis on the object or character's emotion. In this scene, you can see the camera zoom in on the book, establishing a deeper reason for it being there. This is a mid-shot. This is when the camera shows only the torso hub of a character and a bit of their surroundings. This allows the audience to read the body language of the character and where they are. This builds a connection between the two and makes the audience feel closer to the character. In this scene, Albert is crying while some friends mess around in the background, showing that Albert is crying because of the chaos behind him. This is a tracking shot. This is when a camera follows a character while they move. This brings a confident, smooth feel to the scene and makes a character being tracked seem like the most important in the room. In this scene, Crystal walks past her fans with a sassy walk and attitude, showing she's the character the audience should be focusing on. This is a reverse dolly zoom. This is when the camera's lens zooms in while the camera physically backs up. This adds dramatic effects like shock and disbelief, and it emphasizes a character's feelings. In this scene, Kendrick makes a shocked face while the zoom happens, showing his reaction is relevant.
A handheld camera in filmmaking is when the camera is directly held by the camera operator. It makes the viewers feel placed in the scene. It can also make the scene feel more informal and suspenseful. Here, it makes the fight happening in the scene feel more intense. A Steadicam is when the camera is mounted and stable. It allows for smooth, professional shots even if the operator is moving. It imposes no specific feeling on the audience. The Steadicam in this makes sure that there's no distractions on the action the character is doing in the scene. A low-angle shot is when the audience is looking up at the subject. It makes the subject feel as if they have power. It can be useful in situations to show a power dynamic, showing importance or intimidation. It makes the man feel as if he is scary or has power over the audience or other character. A high-angle shot is when the audience is looking down. It can make the viewers feel worried for the subject and show vulnerability. It can also make the subject appear weaker or small, like in the scene with a woman standing over the defeated man.